Hi everyone, my name's PK and I'm joined here by Ryan and Ashelee, who are clients, members of the Property Investment Accelerator. And last week, Ryan DM'd me that he'd finally bought a house. And I asked him, do you want to share your experience? And he told me that one of the reasons he signed up to the Property Investment Accelerator was because he had actually listened to a few of these types of client interviews, and that is what him and Ashelee, his partner, I think that's what got them over the line to kind of build trust and everything like that, which is important. So, these kinds of client interviews, we try to actually bring some value. So it's not just sales and marketing. We're actually trying to drop some nuggets and just, these are real people. They're people that didn't really know how to invest in property and now they've got great deals. And by listening to them, you too can get a great property deal.
Do you want to achieve wealth and passive income through property investing? PK Gupta, host of Oz Property Investment Mastery, will help you achieve passive income by buying top 5% growth and positive cash flow property and building a portfolio using data without you wasting months of time doing research, spending weekends at inspections, or dropping $10,000 to $20,000 on buyer's agents each time. So if you are confused and overwhelmed by the amount of contradictory information available online and don't know where to start, then this show is for you.
First of all, I just want to welcome you guys and say congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And so maybe we'll just go over the deal. So I've got it in my notes here. So the purchase price, if you don't mind me sharing, guys, $427,000. It was actually off market. So even though the bank valuation was basically the same, if this had gone on market, let me just ask you, perhaps Ryan, what do you think it would have gone for? Definitely not for 27,000, right?
Definitely not. Probably like 440. But yeah, funny story. So we were trying to get this deal, with the owners and with the agent, and the owners want the money because they're planning to build another house, so they needed the cash. And then they were looking at lots, and there was an agent there that told the owners that, if you sell it on the market, you'll get a lot more. So then kind of had us worried that, maybe they won't take our offer and they might actually put it on the market. So that even the agent over there knew that it'd get more if they put it on market. But so we had to make a pretty good offer so that they would accept it.
Right. And sometimes people have this question of all right, then why didn't they put it on the market? What are your thoughts on that?
I think there's they could have put it on market, but I think they did want to live in there for another year after they sold the property because they needed somewhere to live while the other house was being built. So I guess they really did want to sell it to investors, and I guess they might get more money if they put it on market, but you don't know who you're selling to. And I feel like the people who are willing to pay a lot more are homeowners. So if they're going to sell it to a homeowner, then they'll have nowhere to live.
And the agent who was actually selling this house told me that they'd been screwed over by other agents in the past trying to sell this house, and really just wanted a quick, simple, straightforward sale that wouldn't cause them any hassle or anything.
Yeah. This is really interesting to hear because sometimes people think, why on earth would someone sacrifice getting top dollar and not put it on real estate or domain? But here's a really good example of that. And the rent, I think you said, Ryan, is about $450, so it's already tenanted because they want to live there, right?
Rent it's $385 at the moment.
$385. Okay. $385 rent on a $427,000 purchase. So that yield, what was the cash flow situation when you did the math? Is this positive cash flow?
Positive cash flow.
It still cash flows by
4.7%.
It's not 4%. It was 4 or 5 grand per year.
$4,000 to $5,000 per year, positive cash flow after all costs. And zero vacancy because the person's just going to continue to live there. Cool. And so then the obvious question is the vendor or the agent wanted a clean sale, an easy sale, you were saying, Ashelee. Oftentimes the predisposition or the preconception that people have is that these relationships by which we get off-market deals, these relationships take months or years to develop with agents. You need a professional on your side, like a buyer's agent or buyer's advocate. What was your experience of why on earth would the agent give it to you? How did you build that relationship with him or her?
So I'd been doing a lot of, I think I contacted 5 to 10 agents in their suburb we were looking for. And
Yeah.
at first it was actually quite nerve-wracking having to call agents and introduce yourself and like make it sound like you knew what you were doing and it's not like your first time buying a property. But obviously we followed the course and made contact with the agents, called them every week, Monday or Tuesday when they came into the office, sent a follow-up text, and soon agents were knowing who I was calling before I even introduced myself because they'd added my name to their phone.
Oh,
Which
cool.
as quick as like a 2-3 minute phone call, just saying that we're still interested and really being assertive and saying that we're committed and showing that, yeah, we want to buy a property in this area.
Yeah. That's great to hear. Like, these strategies by which we get off-market deals, they're not rocket science, right? It's not that hard. It just requires patience and persistence, not necessarily that much time either. And so obviously it's a good deal. It's growing. It's probably already grown since you bought it. It's in a great suburb in South Australia. It's positive cash flow. What was the experience like? It's hard to buy a property in this market. I think it's the hottest market, like I was saying, in probably the last 10 years that I've ever seen. Did you enjoy the experience, or were you kind of thinking like, okay, we got a good deal, but I don't really want to do that again? Like, be honest with me.
Yeah.
Is this the kind of thing you'd say, all right, well, if we're going to make positive cash flow and if we're going to get that growth, I'd be happy to do this again and again.
So it was the whole process. I wouldn't say it was easy. It was had to be very patient, very persistent. But the course has all the steps laid out. So all you have to do is just pretty much follow all the steps. It did take time. So it took, we got our pre-approval and we found this property on the 11th week. We were about to ask for an extension for our pre-approval. But yeah, so it took a while to get it.
I was stressed.
Yeah.
There's like one property every 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I was like, this is too much. Like the hardest part was the waiting game. So I think next time we're definitely going to pick a cooler market just for my own mental health. The process in itself of actually buying a house and doing it interstate was not too difficult.
Yeah. And let's dive into that, because you guys are in Melbourne and you bought in a different state. Still to this day, I have people sort of questioning, how on earth can you buy confidently a property in another city or another state? Like how does that even work? Who does the inspections? And I always say that the property manager is the most important person in your team, because they do the inspections for you. And then the natural follow-up question becomes, well, how can you rely on them? How can you trust them? How did you guys build that trust so that you could actually say, actually, this is a good decision? It's a 10, 20-year investment. How did you build your trust in the property manager?
It was, I guess, the same way you build trust in any kind of company you deal with. You look at the reviews, read what people say about them, and then call them up, ask them like specific questions. And it's all laid out in the course. But ask them specific questions to see whether they know what they're doing, and just see how they are as a person when you do talk to them. And then most of the time they're pretty nice. And like our property manager was very helpful. Like she did inspections for us for free.
I think she did 3 in total for us.
Yeah. And she was like, every time we texted her or called her, she'd pick it up. She'd always reply like very fast. So it's like we knew that she was pretty decent.
And she was happy to give us like a full rundown on the property after she'd inspected it. Like she met one of the properties she inspected. She got to meet the tenant who was living there already. She chatted to the agents who were selling the house for us, and just like we could tell she was genuine, because obviously she's going to get money from us. But just you can tell a lot by the way someone speaks on the phone, and she had our best interests at heart. So obviously we're going to do our best for her as well.
Yeah. No, for sure. There's, like in anything, there's good people and not so good people. So there are ways to find those good people. And just out of curiosity, because there's a lot of, husband, wife, or partners that want to embark on property investing together. Like, how did you guys do it? Like, who did the work, or was it shared, or like, did one person lead it? How was that dynamic between you two?
Found the course.
Well, I found the course originally. I think originally I was just looking at like ways to invest money, and then it came across property, and I was watching like just generic kind of YouTube videos on, like the different things about property, like what is equity, all these little things. But then I stumbled across you on YouTube. I'm like, oh, this guy seems pretty good. Like, all these client interviews every week. I'm like, are these guys actors? I'm like, surely not.
I still get asked that like every week.
He was like, it's all these things. It has to be real. It's all based on stats.
It's great that you don't use your own opinion and you just read off the data. So I'm like, I convinced Ashelee to like, all right, maybe we should do this course because it seems like a very good option for us just to set up our future as well. So I think with finding the suburb and all that, we did it together a lot. But Ashelee is the better talker, so she talked to the agents a lot more than I did. So
good. You played your strengths.
And so then into choosing who was going to actually buy the property, because Ryan's like self-employed, he wasn't able to actually get a loan until the end of this year. But because I'm working as a nurse, it was a lot more straightforward and easier for me to get a loan. So that's what we decided to do for this property, and hopefully the next property he'll do, and then we'll go from there and decide logistically what's best.
I remember us having that conversation probably like 1 or 2 months ago or something like that, where we were going to get it under your name, Ashelee, and then by the time, Ryan, your income got to a certain level, then we could get the next 1 or 2 under your name and figure out a strategy that way. So and if you don't mind me asking, like, I always say this, and it's not to kind of sound arrogant or anything, but the course is not a cheap one. It's not like a $3,000 course. So like, what was it that kind of got you over the line? Because I only have one phone call with prospective clients. Like, I don't do like a whole, multiple phone calls and things. Like, what was it that got you over the line to say, actually, I'm happy to spend this money. There's going to be a return on investment. Everyone is trying to sell stuff in real estate, right? There's so many ads and all this sort of stuff. Like, what kind of allowed you to build that trust up genuinely?
I guess if people are kind of asking themselves the same question, watch more of your videos, look at your Facebook page, look at how engaged you are with community. It just proves that like you're pretty legit. And I guess in terms of like buying in state and all that, like originally I did think you'd have to pay like, $15,000 for a buyer's agent.
We were going to go with the buyer's agent.
Because through all the data you talk about, it's always like interstate seems to be the better purchase, but we're always like, how is it possible to buy interstate unless you have a buyer's agent? But we figured, because of your course, it's like, if you always wanted to buy interstate, you don't want to be paying 15 grand every single time you buy a property. I'd rather just spend a bit of money on myself to just educate myself so that I can do it myself in the future.
No, awesome. Also, I'm glad you did as well. I'm always happy to see, like, it always brings a smile to my face when like a client DMs me and says, oh, I settled, or now I'm unconditional, I got this. It's always good, because it's not an easy thing to buy a property. Doesn't matter if you do a course or not, it still takes some effort, it's not a flick of a switch. And so, like, what are your guys' plans, like, in terms of the next like 5 years, 10 years? Why did you get into property investing in the first place? What's kind of like the long-term vision? What's the objective?
Started with your unstable income.
I guess it was through like lockdown, I couldn't really work. So I'm like, how can I kind of make money if like I lose my job, or if things happen? So pretty much in the next 5 years, or if we want to set ourselves up, just have a decent passive income. But I know it takes time. So in the next 5 years, we'll probably get as much property as we can. And
while we're young.
While we're young, exactly. So it just depends. It depends how much we can borrow.
And then hopefully in 15 to 20 years, we'll have enough for us not to have to work full time, just kind of work to like take out time or enjoy, but have enough to live comfortably with kids and go on holiday and enjoy life rather than just working to survive.
Yeah. No, 100%. And I think that's really what everyone wants to do. I don't think anyone really wants to buy a Ferrari or anything like that, as opposed to what the ads would lead you to believe. Like, we all just want to be able to spend time with kids or with family, not even necessarily leave work, but at least have the option to reduce hours and things like that. And Ryan and then Ashelee, what is like one piece of advice that you would give to yourself 6 months ago, when you were just kind of thinking about property investing? Or what is the one piece of advice or the biggest learning that you took away from the Property Investment Accelerator that you can share with other people who are like, you know, consuming content on YouTube, consuming content on podcasts, on Facebook groups, they're reading books, attending all these free masterclasses and webinars, you know, but really just going around in circles. And then they're like, oh, should I just pay for a buyer's agent, but it's super expensive? Or should I do it myself? But then I don't want to make a mistake. Like, what's, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but what's one piece of advice, Ryan and then Ashelee, that you could impart to those types of people?
Probably I'd say, yeah, make sure you educate yourself first properly. And just with whoever you go with, just make sure that, you know, if they're proven to have client results, if they're proven to be an actual investor themselves as well, and have gone through the whole process, then, you know, do your own due diligence as well. But yeah, just make sure you educate yourself properly so that you learn from other people's mistakes rather than, you know, just doing it yourself, making mistakes and then having a big problem with that. But yeah.
Yeah, no, totally. Well said. And yourself, Ashelee?
I would probably say put in the work, take your time to really understand what you're learning. Like if you decide to take on the course, what you're learning and why the numbers are what they are. Because at first I was kind of just rushing through and I didn't really process what was going on. But yeah, to really understand, and also to, as the side thing, like we have parents who, you know, believe that you just buy where you live. They were really hesitant in us buying interstate, and they're just like, just buy here and it'll grow, and negative gearing and all that. But I just trust yourself in the decisions that you're making, because they're not for your parents, but they're for you.
Oh, well said. Oh, that was deep. That was well said. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, no one cares. I was having this conversation with like a prospective client on a conversation today. Like, no one cares about your money as much as you do. Not your family, not your boss, not even me, right? It's you. And so, yeah, knowledge is power. So well said. All right, guys. Well, yeah, once again, congratulations on a fantastic deal, positive cash flow, high growth, everything that I promised. So yeah, I'm actually looking forward to the next one that you buy, you know, towards the end of the year, perhaps. And yeah, please keep in touch.
Yeah, thanks,
Thank you.
Okay, thanks so much.